one thing I always used to make a mistake when EQing is when I'm listening to a sound and I want to, for instance, make it brighter or clean it up, what I would always do is boost. So thinking that if I boost the top end of that sound, that's going to clean it up and that's going to make it more apparent, but I was hugely wrong.
Hey, I'm Graham Farmer, founder of Dance Music Magazine, Data Transmission. Before we jump into today's video with today's artist, one thing you can do to help me get this video out there and play the YouTube algorithm game is give the video a like and subscribe to the channel because it helps this video get more reach. Let's dive into today's 5 things. I hope you enjoy them.
What I was going to ask you next is we have a YouTube series called 5 Things Producers Need to Know. So I'm going to ask you what your 5 are. Who wants to go first?
John, tell them everything you know about compression.
No, that's just be confusing. So, I think really I mean, is this based on plugins and stuff like that and bits of kit and is that? Do you know what?
Do you know what? You can pick any 5 things. It's complete. Like I've had so many people do this, and everyone has been absolutely different. Actually, Mr. C did about micro EQing, and it was absolutely fascinating. Yeah. D. Ramirez went completely in a different place. And
okay, so can I do I'll do one first, right? Because this is probably the only one that I'm going to be able to really recommend. Take all your levels and just drop them down to like minus 6 dB before you start even putting anything on the page. So when you open up your Logic page or your Ableton page, take all your tracks and drop them to like minus 4, minus 5 dB. Then you've got a lot of headroom for when you're mixing.
Yeah, perfect. That's a great advice. Definitely gain staging. That's what it's called. Making sure your master's got enough headroom. I think production wise, I've been messing on Ableton lately. I'm a Logic person, but one thing that I started using lately was a site called Loop Cloud. I don't know if you guys know it. So this is number 2. So this would be using Loop Cloud. So Loop Cloud is actually a service that is in the cloud, and it's from Loop Masters. And what they've done, they've uploaded all their samples and their loop packs into that, and they've got a bridge which you can put into your DAW, either Ableton or Logic, whatever, and you can actually just in real time audition all loops and samples from their site, which is fantastic because we all know what it's like. You've got your sample packs and you go to the same one. So it's just really interesting. Like the other day I was like doing something. I was like, oh, I want a chant. So I typed in chant, and then you start going through Anglican chants, Indian chants, and it really takes your production into a different place. And having it on your fingertips is really, really useful. So yeah, definitely one to look at is Loop Cloud. All right. So we're on number 3. So number 3 is actually a series of plugins that someone who I call a mentor, is a good friend of mine now as well, Luca Pretalese, developed. So there's a plugin series called Diamond Series, and they've got a Diamond EQ, they've got a Transient Designer, and they've got a Channel Strip. And honestly, there's not a production that goes by where I don't use multiple instances of them. So like the EQ, there's nothing like it on the market. It's a very analog sounding EQ. You can't see my room, but I've got loads of analog gear, and for a digital EQ, it sounds absolutely stunning. Transient Designer, it's called Diamond Transient. It's probably one of the best things on the market. I use it always on my drum bus, and it just does something completely different that no other plugin can do. And then there's also a Channel Strip, which is exceptional, called Diamond Lift. So the Diamond plugins by Studio DMI, definitely check them out. Highly recommend them. So number 4 would be something that people may have heard about before is when you set up your room, obviously, we all know about acoustic treatment, but using headphones as a reference are an amazing tool, and using a piece of kit called SonarWorks is fantastic. So I don't know if you heard about it, but SonarWorks is a plugin that you can put on the end of your master chain. And for instance, I've got these headphones, very expensive headphones, Sennheiser HD800s, but even with these headphones, the sound is colored. So what you're hearing out these headphones is actually a lie. So in the top end, there's like 10 dB bump in the high end and in the low end as well. So essentially, if I'm trying to mix for these headphones and I don't use SonarWorks, all my hats are going to be 10 dB louder in these headphones, so I would turn them down. So anyway, what SonarWorks has done, it's recorded how headphones sound, and then you put an EQ curve on your master chain, and it essentially makes your whole what you're listening to flat. So if you're mixing or you're producing using SonarWorks with headphones, is a complete game changer. Like all my students, some of them, they can't afford to have a studio space, you know, they can't afford to have a big room, they can't afford to even put acoustic treatments up. But by using SonarWorks, which is a £99 plugin, and even a decent set of headphones, you know, these Sennheiser HD25, £90 headphones, you don't need to go mad. You can get really, really, really close results to what you're after. So lastly, number 5, this would be a good one. Talking about mixing, talking about EQing, I suppose. One thing I always used to make a mistake when EQing is when I'm listening to a sound and I want to, for instance, make it brighter or clean it up, what I would always do is boost. So thinking that if I boost the top end of that sound, that's going to clean it up and that's going to make it more apparent. But I was hugely wrong. Really, when it comes to any sound, when you're trying to mix or produce, if you want to clean it up and make it sound brighter, what you actually need to be doing is removing frequencies. So listen to that sound, search through it, find frequencies in it that you just don't like. You can list literally on the FabFilter Q3, you can set up points, sweep through, and you'll hear a point 200, 250 hertz. There's always something there that sounds very muddy. Keep doing it. Remove these frequencies, and just by removing those frequencies, the sound is going to sound so much cleaner without having to boost it. And that's a problem a lot of my students get. They're trying to make their sound, their tracks sound wide and clean, but they're just constantly boosting everything, adding stuff to it, when really the key is to remove negative frequencies from your source to really get the sound that you're after. Boom.
That's mega.
Yes, that's it.
That was mega.
Weren't those 5 things great? Let me know in the comments which is your favourite and your biggest takeaway from this video. Also, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so you get notified every time we drop new videos. YouTube is now going to recommend another video to help your learning further. I hope you enjoy that one. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye-bye.